Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of my pea puffer breeding series. In part 1 we set up the tank and got it ready for breeding. Now in today we're covering what happens next. From when the eggs are laid, to hatching, to raising the fry and getting them big enough to be put into a dedicated pea puffer tank or a community tank if you're really daring, or even better, to prepare them for sale. As you can see, the puffers would lay in the moss. It will flow into the hang-on egg catcher there. Zooming into the egg catcher, you can see those round clear balls. Those are the eggs. From here, some people like to keep it in the little catcher, but I like to suck them out and put them to their next little home. Just some more eggs in the background, and I zoomed in so you guys can see it more. So you can see the clear little balls there. So when they're eggs, you can move into any type of water. That's why I move it into the next tank. In this tank I have this tumbler and another tumbler at the back. So yeah, so I pipette the clear eggs and I put it into the tumblers. This is probably 3 to 5 days. From clear color they've gone to a reddish color, so they have been fertilized. Some of them are still round red eggs there, but you can see slightly to the right. I'm trying to get it. You see those ones with the tails? They've hatched. So I'm going to try and get those ones out of the tumbler and at the same time clean any mess. And I do get some that do get fungus, but rarely. So I'll clean out those ones out as well. I used to just have the eggs and pipette them onto the floor of the tank, but I did get a couple more eggs that did get fungus. So by putting them in the tumbler, they get more aeration, so the percentage of the hatch rate is better in a tumbler, I say. I've also tried methylene blue in a container. I do seem to forget when I do have the eggs. So then the eggs hatch, and then it's not good to have little fry in methylene blue. And then when you try to acclimate them back into a tank, they end up dying. So I chose not to do that method. The tumbler is the way to go, I think. So I've just pipette out the baby fry. You see they don't really move. They more stick to the glass, and they still have some of their egg sacs still. So you don't need to feed them yet. But after a week, they start to change into a different color. See how they're like a little bit red? They go like a grayish color next. So that's when you know that they're ready to eat food. So here you can see a little fry that's swimming around. No more egg sac. He's kind of like a grayish color. So it's probably about 2 weeks old now. It's ready to eat any microworms and any infusoria. I kind of get moss from other tanks that have a lot of like microorganisms in it, and I chuck it into the tank. So you can see that's why there's a lot of subwurstang and moss inside there. I try to push the water around because they like to hide inside the moss. You can see to the right, those guys are a little bit bigger. They're a couple more weeks older than the one that's at the front on the left. So when they're around this size, I like to feed a mix of micro and banana worms. You can see here, tiny little worms, and I get a brush and then I just swish it into the tank. And then the worms just swim in there, and the little pea puffers will pick at them when they're hungry. Worms are better at this stage because they're smaller than baby brine shrimp. They last in the water, and you don't have to feed the babies as frequently as you do if you had brine shrimp. So you're aiming probably 3 to 4 times a day with these feeds. And then I would clean the bottom of the tank floor and do a water change every second day. I do about 20%, not too big of a water change to not shock the little babies. So then I'll be doing this for the next 2-3 weeks. Depending on how big they are, I will move them from the middle tank, and if they get too big then I move them to the next tank, and so forth. So when they're this size, I will move them onto a different tank. And then this is probably about a month later. I'm testing out black worms. So it will be a mix of baby brine shrimp and black worms at this stage. And these ones that I've moved to the top tank, they're about 3 to 4 months old. One of them's already showing yellow fins and a black line underneath his belly, so he's probably ready soon for breeding. So that was part 2 of the series, from eggs to raising the baby pea puffers. In part 3, I'll show you guys how I set up a grow out tank and get the pea puffers ready for their forever homes. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, follow along with the whole series, and see you in the next one. Bye everyone.